Here's the deal. We get a group of guys together to play some poker at the Atlantis Casino Resort Spa in Reno, Nevada. Now, I don't mean just your average group of poker players. I mean some of the best in the world. Daniel Cates, Brian Rast, Kenny Tran, Brandon Stephen, and Jeff Borris. They all agree to buy in a minimum of $50,000. They play 100, 200 no-limit Texas Hold'em, and they battle it out. This is real cash, this is real action, and this is real drama. Are you ready for high stakes Hold'em?
Welcome back to High Stakes Hold'em. I'm Eric Eulis alongside 2007 World Series of Poker Player of the Year, Tom Schneider. Well, we've got about $300,000 in cash on the table and 5 world-class poker players ready to hit the deck. So let's go ahead and get to the action right now.
Oh, you did? Oh, you didn't? Did you or you didn't? You didn't? Wow. That's how you got a job, man.
Well, the action is folded around to Brian Rast on the button. He makes a raise to 600.
I would expect him to raise on the button.
Jungle Man makes a call from the big blind, so we're on to the flop. The flop appears relatively uneventful. Cates checks it quickly. The action's back on Rast, who follows through with a continuation bet of 700. Cates makes a quick call, so we're on to the turn.
Check.
Check from Cates.
Check.
And a check from Rast as well, so we have a free river card, which is a king of spades. A little bit of hesitation here on the part of Cates. He does check, however. Actions on Rast.
Daniel Cates' check there was different than his previous checks. There was actually some thought put into that check, which sometimes indicates that maybe the king helped him.
Well, Rast makes a bet of 2,000. The action is back on Cates here.
Interesting bet, because Rast checked the turn, which oftentimes indicates weakness, or hey, I want to keep the pot small. I didn't hit this flop in a big way, or didn't hit the turn in a big way. So let me just see a free card.
Well, after a little bit of thought, Cates raises to 7,000, putting Rast to the acid test here.
I believe Cates could be check raising here with just about anything.
Well, he did hesitate a little bit there when that king came out, so he may actually have a piece of the board.
Rast has got to be thinking that, hey, my check on the turn looked really weak. Maybe Cates is just trying to take advantage of that.
Well, that's the one thing about Rast, is he understands that Cates is a very aggressive player and certainly capable of raising with complete air. Rast spending some time thinking about it. Looks like he's gearing up to do something here. And Rast re-raises to 19,000.
Notice his gum chewing, very comfortable. It's a quick pace. Oftentimes when I see that, I think that the guy is way too comfortable. It makes it look like real strength. Sometimes when people are bluffing, they stop chewing altogether. The other thing that he did is he put in 4 bundles of $10,000 packs. He bet 19,000. He didn't unstrap 2 of them to put 2 of them in to closer approximate what he bet. Oftentimes when people don't unravel their packs and put in the right amount, it's like, hey, I don't want to do this, and then just have to put them back together when I win this pot. To me, it's a real indication of strength. It's a strange tell.
Well, either there's an awful lot of Hollywood on the part of Cates here, or he's got a tough decision. He doesn't look happy about this at all.
He's trying to piece together the story, and I'll tell you what the story says to me. What I do is I try to pick out hands that they don't have. And because he checked the turn, because Rast checked the turn, it indicates a couple of things. He doesn't have pocket aces, he doesn't have pocket kings, jacks, or tens, because he would have continued to bet on the turn. He doesn't have a set of threes or fours. He also would have continued to bet, try to maximize the value. So now he has no pair in his hand, the way I look at it. So he either has an ace queen or queen nine or complete air. I don't think he has complete air. I think if he had complete air, he would have continued to bet on the turn to try to pick the pot up there, which he didn't. He was basically saying, let me see a cheap card and see if I hit my hand. I think he has ace queen or queen nine. That's the only way it comes out to me. And I don't think he's going to put in a three-barrel bluff here against Cates, because his story doesn't make sense on the turn other than having ace queen or queen nine.
Well, the other thing is that Rast does appear to be very comfortable, and given the amount of time that Cates is spending trying to decide what he's going to do here, you would think that if Rast was actually on a stone cold bluff, that he would start becoming a little bit nervous about the fact that he may be getting called here by Cates.
The other thing that is happening here is I think that Cates has actually hit the flop. He checked the flop really quickly, and oftentimes when you check real quickly, you had some piece of the flop because you don't mind if somebody bets. So he has some timing tells, I think. I think he did hit a piece of the flop, and I do think that kind of that whatever he did on the river indicates that he hit the king in some way. And of course, since he was in the big blind, he's going to call a lot of bets on the button, which Rast bet on the button. So he could have anything. He could have flopped fours and threes. He could have flopped a set and tried to check raise a turn. I really don't think he flopped a set because I think we would have heard from him earlier. I do believe the king hit him in some way, though.
Well, I think Cates is certainly capable of floating here, but given the hesitation that he showed when that king came out there, I suspect that, you know, that did something for him on the river there.
The other hand that you can take Brian off of is you can take him off of ace-king. Because if he had ace-king, he wouldn't put the 3-bet in. He would just call Daniel's what looks to be bluff bet. So obviously Daniel has some sort of hand agonizing.
Yeah, indeed, he doesn't look happy about this at all. How much to show? All right, well, Cates just asked Rast how much to show, so that tells me that Cates has a big hand here. He's considering making a big laydown and just wants to make sure that he's not making a bad decision.
Oftentimes a guy will ask that too, just to get a read from his opponent. I think Daniel's going to piece together the puzzle, and he's going to make a decent laydown here. I believe he's got to have ace-queen or queen-nine of Brian Rast.
All right, well, after an awful lot of thought, Cates decides to lay down his hand. I'm going to be very curious to see what he had here. King 4. Wow, so he rivered a 2-pair. What a big laydown on the part of Cates there.
It's a pretty big laydown.
Looks like Rast and Cates are talking about showing the hand here. Rast shows the nuts. Ace, queen. Wow, he rivered the nuts in a big way there. So Cates put the pieces together. Nice laydown on the part of Cates there. You know, Tom, the real story with this hand in my mind is Cates' ability to lay down 2-pair in this spot. It's moves like that that separate players like Cates, quite frankly, from your typical poker player.
A lot of poker players, average poker players, will look at 2-pair and say, gee, I have to call, I made 2-pair. But one of the things that the great players do, which Daniel is they take the time to piece together the hand, look at all the clues that they have, and then determine and make the right decision, which obviously he did. And it wasn't a simple laydown, but once you put the pieces together, it actually wasn't a horribly difficult laydown.